Thanks to Barbie, all problems of feminism and equal rights have been solved. At least, that's what the Barbies think.
Welcome to Manosphere Highlights Daily. I watched the Barbie movie so you don't have to. The motivation behind watching this movie goes beyond that. And here's another reason why.
And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still wanna party. Pink felt like I'm ready to bend. I'm a 10, so I pull in a Ken.
I think that if you're dating a man and he doesn't like the Barbie movie, you should break up with him. Literally seek help.
Dump him. Like, take the trash out. I don't understand why you're calling him your boyfriend or husband or partner or whatever. Like, he should just be dumped. Dump him. Like, what? Like, I would never.
Listen to me closely, ladies. It is the year 2023. We are not settling for anything less than obsession. Are you listening to me? If this man is not obsessed with you, hit the road, Jack.
And I was like, you know what? One thing that Barbie showed me was that I'm not gonna let a man treat me like shit. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm done. And yeah, so I broke up with him.
Women dumping their boyfriends because of this movie sparked interest in watching the movie from a red pill lens. There's a lot to unpack, so this will be part 1 of this Barbie movie breakdown, where we get into the feminist narrative of the movie. Disclaimer: this video contains copyrighted footage, so we will be freezing it frequently to prevent copyright infringement. A special salute to our Patreon supporters. The original video will be available on Patreon. If you enjoy our content and want the full experience, consider supporting us on Patreon. Spoiler alert! This video contains spoilers, so you've been warned. Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we men, ain't we? We men, ain't we? To review this movie from a red pill perspective, I asked myself the question, why would you make a Barbie movie? At first glance, the answer seems obvious. Money.
Celebrate disco bell bottoms! And your ice capade pretty practice suit and dazzling show skirt!
This movie is one big 2-hour Barbie commercial. But as we dive into the world of film and entertainment, we realize that economics and politics are intertwined in ways we might not immediately see.
We empowering girls, always. But what do we really sell? I'll tell you what, we sell dreams. And imagination. And sparkle.
I get excited, I'm passionate. And when you think of sparkle, what do you think of after that? Female agency.
So this movie is not just meant to sell Barbie, but is also used to present feminist ideologies, such as challenging traditional gender roles, promoting female agency, and advocating for equality. That's where we come in, because feminism has never been about equality. And this Barbie movie does exactly what the feminist movement fails to acknowledge, which is the biological differences between men and women. So instead, they serve women that feel-good Kool-Aid that is effective for the moment, but depressing in the long run.
Now, nonetheless, and no matter what you've been told or what you may even think yourself, you are needed, beautiful, and sexy. No matter the color of your hair, your weight, or whether you bleed during your menstrual cycle or not.
No, that's not true. I'm my best self now that I reached 56 years old. I have the most to offer. I have zero blanks to give anymore, right? I'm solidly in my womanhood. I'm solidly in who I am and what I have to offer and what I have to say. I finally realized it's valuable, even if no one else agrees. It's my point of view, and I have a right to have it. So
because I know what I deserve, I know my worth. I deserve someone who's so secure in themselves and is a feminist. For one thing, I'm not. I would never call myself a feminist because I believe that women are greater than men.
Yeah, I'm a mum. Can I finish talking? Go on. And nobody can limit me. No one can limit me.
Yes.
There's no limitation. So if I want to be in the 20% and I believe I'm going to be in the 20% with my 6-year-old, I am going to be in it. That's because that's my mindset and that's how I think.
Yeah.
So yes, I have a 6-year-old, and yes, I was a teenage mum, but that doesn't define me. You're not as who I am. To be honest with you, I don't think that is honest. It's not about honest. It's about letting people know if you believe something and you're going to work towards it.
It's very
go
unrealistic.
For it. No, but it's not unrealistic. It depends.
It is unrealistic.
It's not about honesty. Honesty doesn't sell to women. That's why they don't like it here. The truth hurts.
She has her own money, her own house, her own car, her own career. Because Barbie can be anything, women can be anything.
The original Barbie doll, introduced in 1959 by Mattel, was a cultural phenomenon and became a significant part of American toy history. Barbie was one of the first dolls to be depicted in a wide range of careers, breaking traditional gender stereotypes and encouraging girls to aspire to various professions beyond homemaking. Barbie was often portrayed as an independent woman who could travel, explore, and engage in various activities on her own, encouraging a sense of self-reliance and adventure among young girls. Personally, I don't have a problem with the quote-unquote girls can do anything message. I took my talents overseas to start my family. I don't have a daughter, but if one day I get a daughter, I'm not gonna tell her she can't do anything. That's foolishness. However, I will tell her something else. Check this out.
Oh, but since I came all this way, could I just meet the woman in charge? Your CEO?
Oh, that would be me.
Oh, your CFO.
Me.
Your COO.
Here.
President of the Barbie division.
President. I'm a man with no power. Does that make me a woman?
Are any women in charge?
Listen, I know exactly where you're going with this.
Becoming the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company, yes, billion with a B, or an astronaut isn't as simple as dreaming it. It's not like putting on a spacesuit makes you an astronaut. Just as wearing a suit and tie doesn't automatically make you a CEO. Remember, unlike Barbie, it's not the clothes that define the person. The absence of women on the board of Mattel, symbolizing the patriarchy in this movie, reinforces the narrative that patriarchal systems act as barriers to women's access to employment opportunities and leadership positions. This is where I personally have a problem with this feminist narrative, because this scene makes the assumption that women are not on that board just because they are women. Janice, CEO.
CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer. It is the highest ranking executive in a company or organization, responsible for making major corporate decisions, managing the overall operations and resources of the company, and acting as the main point of communication between the board of directors, if applicable, and the corporate operations. The CEO is often seen as the leader of the organization and plays a crucial role in setting the company's strategic direction and vision.
Are you sure you want to be a CEO? I'm talking about embodying the role of a CEO, not just having the title. Women love high status. Hollywood is fully aware of that. That's why they don't present us with the reality of these high positions. It's a huge responsibility, especially when you're running a billion-dollar company. The key is to have the most capable person in that position, regardless of gender. Ultimately, it's about financial performance. Can you perform at a high level? Can you outperform your competitors? Can you perform under pressure? Don't worry, we'll get to the antidepressants soon. Check this out.
Come on, we got important things to do. It's her and her.
Ah, female garbage collectors in Barbie land. Let's take a look at the real world. Garbage collector demographics and statistics in the US. Janice, read.
There are over 63,192 garbage collectors currently employed in the United States. 5.0% of all garbage collectors are women, while 95.0% are men.
What? Only 5%? Where is the outrage? Wait a minute. Janice, give me the CEO demographics and statistics in the US.
Will do, sir.
Janice, read.
There are over 42,356 chief executive officers currently employed in the United States. 31.5% of all chief executive officers are women, while 68.5% are men.
This is pure gold. There are more female CEOs than there are female garbage collectors. Female CEOs surpass female garbage collectors by a landslide. This is that foolishness of these feminists and their so-called fight for equality. They practice selective equality, i.e. she-quality. Their attention is primarily given to addressing gender inequality in certain high status or prestigious positions while neglecting other sectors of the workforce. Like I said before, women love high status, and that is not a coincidence. High status is desired by women because it signals resources. Feminism has never been about equality, and that's why women are their own worst enemy. Check this out.
It is literally impossible to be a woman. You are so beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't think you're good enough. Like, we have to always be extraordinary. But somehow we're always doing it wrong. Like, you have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to love being a mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane, but if you point that out, you're accused of complaining. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women, because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood, but always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged, so find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful. You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard, it's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us.
Oh my goodness. Is this what they've been dumping their boyfriends for? You can't make this stuff up. Do you understand why we call them agents of chaos? This is what women asked for. This is what these feminists wanted. Betty Friedan, the problem that has no name. Many women felt unfulfilled, trapped, and frustrated in their roles as wives and mothers. They experienced a sense of emptiness and a lack of personal identity beyond their domestic duties. To make a long story short, they were bored. So women wanted more. But women had no clue what was waiting for them, because just like this Barbie movie, women were served that feel-good Kool-Aid. You can do anything, you deserve everything, and you can have it all. And women drank that feel-good Kool-Aid without reading the description. They were not ready. Women were not ready for the world. They were not ready for the truth. The truth is, not everybody wins. The truth is, you can't have it all. And women have a big problem with trade-offs. They want to have that cake and eat it too. That's why they practice selective equality, i.e. she-quality. And some of the things she says are just ridiculous. Let's break it down.
We have to always be extraordinary. But somehow we're always doing it wrong.
Yes, if you want to compete with men, you'll have to be extraordinary, especially if you want the top positions like CEO. Men are biologically bigger, faster, stronger, perform better under stress, and when we examine intelligence, we often observe a bell curve distribution which suggests that average intelligence scores for men and women have differences. Men are more likely to be extremely smart or stupid. Guess who is competing for the top positions? Guess who is creating these top positions? Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. That's your competition.
You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas.
You're not supposed to be mean. Being mean, disrespectful, or hostile is generally viewed as counterproductive and detrimental to workplace morale, teamwork, and overall success. The foolishness! This is why women in general, you have your exceptions, don't make good leaders because they are too emotional. Why do you want to squash someone's idea? Because it makes you feel good?
You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people.
No. You wanted to be a career woman. Women wanted careers. And what in the blue hell do you think men were doing? They were working to support their families. It's called responsibility. Try it.
You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane, but if you point that out, you're accused of complaining.
Aha! This is interesting. I'm not going to sit here and condone bad, disrespectful behavior towards women. But you saw what happened with Brickface and how easy it is for women to get away with false accusations. I suggest you protect yourself at all times. And like Camille Paglia explained, men wanted to protect women from this dangerous world, but women wanted the freedom to risk grape. With freedom comes responsibility. So if you're a strong and independent woman and you don't need no man, I expect you to deal with this part of life.
You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women, because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood, but always stand out and always be grateful.
Too pretty? I think you mean too sexy. You know women can do something about that, because we all know that modern women are not pretty for men. It's that sisterhood of yours that's messing you up. They push you towards staying single, getting caught up in hookup culture, going into debt, and making decisions that might not seem so smart down the road. Barbie land is a fantasy. Women could never live and thrive in harmony because they cannot stand each other. There are studies. Women are their own worst enemies. And we still didn't release our review of the all-female company. Catfights over handbags and tears in the toilets. When this producer launched a women-only TV company, she thought she'd kissed goodbye to conflict. Everything you need to know is in that article.
But never forget that the system is rigged, so find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful.
Tell that to the men you screw over in court every time you file irreconcilable differences, or every time you falsely accuse men of rape, or every time you get custody over the children when you are clearly not a good parent, or when you commit paternity fraud and walk free. No jail time, no fine, but the non-biological father has to pay child support. Anyway, women are the last ones to talk about rigged systems.
You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard, it's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault.
Right now, she's just throwing a tantrum, and many women can relate to this feeling. Societal norms often place great pressure on women, contributing to the troubling depression rates in the US, where 1 in 4 women is on antidepressants. In addition, women continue to struggle with alarmingly high levels of burnout and stress in the quote-unquote new normal of work. Barbie and feminism did not inform women about this aspect of the journey, and instead focused on the fun aspects of a career. You're not getting a medal for doing what you're supposed to do. You do not get a medal because not everybody wins. And we all know at the end of the day, it's all men's fault.
I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us.
Last time I checked, they said men are lost. It's the other way around. Women are lost, and this movie is not helping. Schrodinger's feminism. A woman is simultaneously a victim and empowered until something happens. Then she chooses which state benefits her the most. And we've saved the best for last.
By giving voice to the cognitive dissonance required to be a woman under the patriarchy, you robbed it of its power.
Yes.
The foolishness. Nothing she said represented cognitive dissonance. And to make it worse, they wanted to make Barbie sound smart.
Wow, I just said all of that.
Oh my goodness. You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. That's not cognitive dissonance. These are societal norms, expectations. Women are acting like it's okay for men to be mean. I don't know where you get this idea from. I know that women don't handle criticism and rejection very well. That's why they call us misogynist, even though our arguments are legitimate. Here we go with the feelings again. If your girlfriend dumped you because you didn't like or agree with this movie, she did you a favor, okay? This is not cognitive dissonance. You should be dumping your girlfriend for not getting this shit. After all those girls can do anything and patriarchy's evil speeches, the movie doesn't have a clear message. It's not clear what the film actually wants to say.
He never thought that I was going to do that. And so, yeah, thank you, Barbie, for empowering me, for giving me the confidence, for making me realize that I deserve better, that, I'm amazing and I deserve better.
This movie is just a bunch of feel-good Kool-Aid. Just a movie to make women feel good. This movie does exactly what the elites want, which is to create confusion and division. People who are divided are easier to control.
What's her ending? What does she get?
Well, that's easy. She's in love with Ken.
That is not her ending.
I'm not in love with Ken.
What do you want?
I don't know. I'm not really sure where I belong anymore.
No traditional happy ending for Barbie and Ken. And they let the preteen say, that's not her ending. They get to these girls early. This is where this movie and feminism take their L's. Or actually, get their W's, because they want confusion. They want division. How is this supposed to be empowering?
I don't know. I'm not really sure where I belong anymore.
Barbie chooses to become a human being in the real world instead of staying in the perfect utopia called Barbie Land. Why does Barbie decide to leave the perfect utopia of Barbie Land, where there is no patriarchy? Does her choice shed light on the problem that has no name?
Being a human can be pretty uncomfortable.
I know.
Humans make things up like patriarchy and Barbie just to deal with how uncomfortable it is.
I understand that.
And then you die.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a surprise that a modern woman takes this path. Check this out.
For women, no matter how much money, power, or respect you earn, you are never allowed to behave badly and get away with it. I want to have it all. I want to have a family, a career, and a side piece.
This is what this is all about. Having that cake and eating it too. Women want to do whatever they feel, and that's not how the real world works. And it's driving them nuts. Feminism desperately needs to come up with something to give women's happiness a boost, because it's been on a steady decline for over 60 years. Look at Barbie's first scene as a human being. Check this out.
And what are you here for today, Barbara?
I'm here to see my gynecologist.
Why do I have the feeling that Barbie's about to get ran sprinted through? How empowering, especially after this scene.
I don't know exactly what you meant with all of those little quips, but I'm picking up on some sort of entendre, which appears to be double. And I would just like to inform you, I do not have a vagina.
Our next video goes into how women thrive at the expense of men.
Oh. Please may the Kens have one Supreme Court justice.
Oh, I can't do that. But maybe a lower circuit court judgeship.
We accept, as long as we can wear robes.
Well, the Kens have to start somewhere, and one day the Kens will have as much power and influence in Barbie Land as women have in the real world.
We made this channel for men. That's why we started this channel. Not because we hate women. It's because men's voices need to be heard, and men need to be educated on the foolishness that's going on, so they can protect themselves at all times. The channel is called Manosphere Highlights Dating. We highlight men's issues, female nature, and the effects of society on human behavior. We encourage you to become the best man that you can be. But if you want to know how to do push-ups, then you have to go to the push-ups channel. If you want to know about money, you have to go to the money channel. I've said it many times on this channel that I took my talents overseas. I had to look for content that could help me with that. So I watched a combination of channels: push-up channels, money channels, travel channels, language channels, and manosphere channels. Everything that I had to do to become the best version of myself. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. You know why? Because we men, ain't we? We men, ain't we? Patreon supporters, salute! Manosphere, we working. Protect yourself at all times. This video has officially been highlighted.